we're live. Twitch, YouTube. It's been a minute. The last stream was 3 weeks ago.
The terrain and these lights.
I forgot a date when it was. Nope, 3 weeks ago. And I think we're live, yeah. Shout out. Shout out to anybody because I know nobody's here for the first 5 minutes. Okay. By the way, if the microphone sounds like just strange, let me know. Because sometimes you're too polite and there's actually something wrong with it. Testing 1, 2. So I've been in Sevilla instead of streaming for a short while. Just setting up, by the way. If I can get some text on the screen. Let's have a look. It gets the message across. Let's get the message across in a purple way. Sweet. See, that is not helpful because there's no reference point. 5 minutes from when? Okay, and let us make a thumbnail. I need to make a thumbnail so people have an idea of what the stream is going to be on. Let's find a thumbnail. Live stream, we'll call it. We'll get rid of that picture, I think. So right now off camera, I'm just creating a thumbnail. So any YouTube streamers or streamer wannabes. Sorry, I'm just getting a few messages on the chats. People will see your thumbnail. So when YouTube recommends another video that's up next, potentially, you can click or not click. They will give a thumbnail. But if you don't choose one, so normally I have one prepared. I don't mind being a bit rusty on my first day back. But if you don't have one prepared, it would just give something generic. And then the point being nobody will click it. No, we don't want that one. It'd be nice if there was a shot from Sevilla. Why not? I don't know if less people are going to click this, to be fair. Game engine. What we'll call it, simulation. Live stream game engine. What we'll do on this one. I don't know. What do I want to work on? Game engine. We can call it game engine development. It's not so important. By the way, I have almost zero ability to be creative and create a thumbnail and talk. But I don't care. Okay, game engine. Game engine development. Okay, 2 minutes and I'm ready, I think. Mad Ben, how are you? I just saw the chat. Let's check out that channel. Wait, was that how to play old Ben Flash games? Flash, man, what happened to Flash? Ben 10 Flash. I don't know why, but I already feel like I've missed being on here. Live stream, game engine development. Okay, just saving this thumbnail. Sweet, I'll take that. Also, the YouTube algorithm, it will look at your thumbnails. I don't know how. Well, I don't know what it's looking for, but if you put up a decent or even a half decent thumbnail for every video, there's consistency. And then you'll get, apparently you get favored in the algorithm. They just see that you're taking your time, your care, and you're showing professionalism. Okay, maybe I should do something. Maybe not. Okay, let's just start the engine up and see if we can show you. Hey Ben, yeah, I didn't realize you was on, so I was talking to you through YouTube, as you probably worked out. I didn't see you was on Twitch. Twitch is just a little bonus. Let me do that. We can do that. Sweet. I'm having overwhelming feelings of having missed coding and streaming. I need a fan though because it just feels warm with the light. There's a few lights on me. If I do that, and open a window, I'll go with the natural fan. By the way, can you hear me okay? And does my voice sound like you think it probably should sound? I think what I felt was my most successful stream about a month ago. I played it back. It was like 3 hours. I played it back, and my my voice had gone through some sort of modulator, like accidentally, like a bug, and I sounded like I'd had helium, and nobody told me for 2 hours. They're just engaged. And I was gonna pay to advertise that lesson. Okay, microphone come over here. Sweet. Maybe, I don't know, I might want to say 6 months, but I feel like somebody else could do it in 2 weeks because everything was self-taught, and also it wasn't consistent. I did a lot of traveling in between. What we got? How is the music? Does the music need turning up a little? Boomer shooters. Nice. What language are you using? You won't believe this. I'm too cold now. Let me close that window halfway. Sweet. Yeah, my brother did C#. Not for long though. He's a loser, aren't you, bro? I don't know if he's watching. Actually, he used C# just to, he was either reverse engineering or he might have been cracking, reading just RAM basically, memory for game stuff. Actually, the last thing I was looking at was this here. So I put in I think it's called a Gizmo. And the point being, you can drag it up and down and it would move objects, as you all know, in the engine. Like for example, if we load a car, I'll show you now my old system. Let me just load this car in. So what's going to happen, I load the car in, where is it? Okay, first person that sees a Bugatti, let me know where. Let's hide the terrain and the water, and it'll be easier to find. There it is. And then here, this is moving it. So these handles move it across the different axes, like the Z, forward and backward on the Z, up and down on the Y, and then along on the X. Well, I've lost it, here we are. But, yeah, I need to fix that. So the way it would work is you just have the gizmo would come up. Let's have a look. So you move this up and across instead of these handles. So the code's already there to move things, but we need a better user interface. Okay. So what I'm going to do, actually, can I show you my code? Has a memory error of some form. I don't need that. Gizmo.draw, goodness. So the thing, the 3 axis, by the way, is called, that's the gizmo. That's called a gizmo. And what do we do? So this is a GLFW OpenGL function call that will take the window and the tootables, and then it will give you the positions of the mouse within the window. And then this is just a bit of math, mostly from the GLM library, just to basically see exactly where the mouse is within world space on the X and the Y. Obviously, if you click somewhere on the screen, it might be like 5 across and 10 up, but in a 3D world, it depends if you've moved the camera, if you've walked. So this math will just give you where you've clicked it within the world, basically. Yeah, maths is interesting. If you're going to be doing game engine, you want to be at least understanding some concepts. Okay, so ChatGPT helped me write this before I went on holiday. I think 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, and this was just wrong. So now I'm going to try. By the way, I discovered with OpenGL you can, if you call line width before drawing something, it just directly changes it. So like your wire mesh, which you don't normally see, yeah, it can directly edit that, which is helpful. But I do fear that even now I'm implementing the gizmo, I'm probably going to implement something else to replace this in the future, because it's not the prettiest thing. So what now I'm going to do is get rid of that. I want to ask ChatGPT where this is going wrong, and I'll walk us all through it, because it should be quite simple. Or I think it's I think I didn't ask the right question of it. So first I need to ask myself what I want to do. It was taking a mouse click on the gizmo. But I wanted to know if I'd clicked part of the gizmo rather than just the screen. Okay. So what we'll do, I'm going to bring up Grok. How was that? Yep. So here's the code for Grok. It's for the gizmo actually. Yeah, it's for the gizmo. Although you could use it for the grid, and you make a good point actually. You could just put that before the grid and have a slider. Are you using OpenGL? Also, if you do subscribe, Twitch is all good, but YouTube is where I'm trying to get my subscribers to 500. I think I'm only like 30 something off. Before I'm a billionaire. Okay, so I think that was some old, yeah, something old. Can you see ChatGPT? I think you can. No, this is Grok. Grok, help me out. I'll try think mode. Do I want think mode? So this draws the gizmo to the screen. Let's just see if it does actually do that. So draw function takes the coordinates. So it says here if the mouse is clicked, but I don't think that's true. I think that I've copied and pasted that. So it does that anyway. Use here is just calling the shader. So rate origin. Grok. Prior to the is it an if? Prior to the if, what does this function do? And also from the if onwards. How I see it, we get world space coordinates of the mouse at first and create a few variables for arrays. But from the if we have a bad check that isn't helping. I need to check whether mouse is clicked. See, now I'm asking myself the question, how do I want the gizmo to work? Is it when I actually click it? Or would you select an object and then basically anywhere you click will, depending on the direction you move it, is moving it? Like maybe you go into move mode, or it's just when you click it. And I think I want it when I actually click the lines, or at least very close to them. I need to check where the mouse is clicked and see if it intersects with the gizmo's axis. Then presumably to change a boolean state and drag in one of the axes. But what typos do you suggest? So far I successfully draw the gizmo. The if doesn't seem helpful. And we can come back to that. Grok 3 is very good. Like, I normally use ChatGPT. I've subscribed to it previously. But yeah, Grok 3 is probably better now from what I'm seeing. I'm using Raylib, by the way. Yeah, so Raylib is an OpenGL library. Is that right? I've never used it, but I feel like I should. Okay, let's see what Grok's seeing. I've had 3 weeks off. I'm more than happy to. I think this is the new frontier of coding, AI agents. This activates a shader, presumably setting this. How does it know that? How does it know that? Because I guess just the context of a draw function, because it doesn't. I've never copied this code to Grok before. I don't think. It said presumably because it's guessing from context. It doesn't matter how smart an AI is. It doesn't know things that it's not psychic. So that was a good, intelligent guess. That was a point for Grok. Okay, mouse position gets the current mouse position and the screen coordinates. Yep. By the way, when it gets the mouse position and screen coordinates, I guess if I move the window around and I'm in the middle, that's going to change. So the top left of my engine won't be 0, 0 because I might have it in the middle of my monitor. I think that's what it means. And then normalize device coordinates, so it changes a coordinate system to NDC. The mouse coordinates are converted from screen space to NDC. Yeah. So now it becomes relative to the actual window, I think. Is NDC relative to the window as -1 to 1, or is it relative to the monitor? It still could be both. I think it's the window though. Yeah, the viewport. Oh, don't tell me more. That's all I want to know. By the way, I'm going to say for the maths on something like clicking and bound checking, basically to see whereabouts a mouse is clicked, don't waste your life on that type of math. Maybe go through it once, understand it, or partially understand it, but you're just coding how to click and how to test it, and there could be quite a lot involved. It's mostly a lot of simple functions, but don't get stuck there. Do I have Discord? I don't have a channel for coding there. Maybe soon. Perhaps when I get 500, I will. So what was I saying? Yeah, normalized device coordinates. Inverse matrices. Compute the inverse of the projection and view matrices. These are used to transform coordinates back from clip space to world space. Yeah, so what's happening at 4? Because we're clicking in a given space, and it might be like 5 across, or it's going to be now in NDC, which will be from -1 to 1. So maybe we'll click at 0 and 0.3, a given space in a flat screen. And then when we invert the matrices, the projection matrix and the view matrix, those numbers will be changed to the 3D world. So it will know what part of the world we've clicked, not just the window. And this is all linear algebra at this stage, when you're inverting matrices. And these are used to transform coordinates back from clip space to world space. I think sort of NDC and clip space are kind of, this. They relate. They're quite. I think they relate. They're connected there. Ray and clip space creates a ray starting at the near plane with the mouse's NDC coordinates. So I think it means it's starting at the front of the screen, like where where the camera is basically, and it goes into the world. That's your ray. And I think that simulates the user. Okay, where are we? Grok. The array is transformed. Yeah, the origin comes from where the camera is, basically. Up to this point, the code correctly calculates array from the camera through the mouse, so wherever we click, into world space. Or not even click, but just show. This is a standard ray casting technique for 3D picking or intersection tests. Yeah, so it's an intersection test. Yeah, I'm not sure what this if statement's checking. Review the code again. No, we can go back. Where are we? Okay, so we're going to forget that, and Grok is suggesting what we want with the check. You want to detect when the mouse is clicked. Check if the click intersects with the Gizmo axis. Set a boolean state to enable dragging along that axis. Here's a revised version. Okay, look away. Static ball dragging. What the maths I struggle with here is checking how it's checking the intersect. By the way, did it pick up my models? Yeah, it did. When I get stuck on something, sometimes it's good to get it going and then understand it after. I'm going to be surprised if this works, but also not entirely. because Grok. Okay, so I think if I pull up my console, okay, let's have a look. So what I'm going to do here, I'll show you now. We're going to create a debug message. So I have a debug console here. I'm going to take shader off. And we're going to do it so if I click on one of the lines and drag, it will come up here and tell us. Because right now it's writing it to my console, you can't see off screen, but it doesn't seem to be working. So what we would do is, we can do it here. I think it's logger.add log message dragging across axis. And it wants to know the type imgui logger. Log type, I think I have an info type. Yeah, you can't see that. So that's if dragging. Then this one is just if you clicked an axis. Clicked Z axis. And here. You see this line here is doing it onto the console, which is like off the screen. And also it's giving out so much data that there's no time to read it. So I'm going to put it in my engine. Is that the same axis? X, Y, and Z. But I don't think it was working, to be honest. Which is why I didn't mind copying and pasting, because I thought, this is not. It nearly gets a specific position. Nearly. Okay, let's have a look. So if we take the shader off here and take pause. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking here and it's still not writing anything. Which just means it's not working. If mouse is not clicked. That makes sense. If dragging. Let's see if the dragging works. No. It might work now. Nope. Yeah, I'll check it out. Type it in the YouTube box if you can. Because I'll come back to the chat history there. It's not, it doesn't detect the clicking, and I think it's something to do with the matrices. So let's have a look. Gizmo's model matrix. Do we really reset that every frame? That's not good. Let me just check the code that I sent to Grok. If we're resetting it every frame, that doesn't make sense. Model 2. I'm going to keep this code, but I'm just going to go back a second. One, two. A little sneeze off camera there. I have some variables with the same name elsewhere, so I want to not mix them up. Okay, that's good. I have a global, I think. Although it doesn't seem to be necessary if OpenGL has the ability to just tune in on that anyway and check it live. Okay. Oh, I like how it uses the dot product here. That's, where was it? It's checking the closest. Like which axis is the closest. See, stuff like that I don't think I wouldn't intuitively get immediately. It's something I need to be seen working and then I grasp it more. I just want to make sure the logger's working, but that just didn't seem to work. But I think it's if the maths is not wrong, then it's probably related to. Second. Where it thinks this is in world space. Clear log, and stop the shader. Ah, so that did something. What was that dragging? So I think it's detecting drags now, dragging across x-axis. Okay, so now you see why the debugger was important. So clicked z-axis. The code shouldn't. I think it's if you do it once, it gives all three. It triggers all three of the statements. Let's clear the log and click the y-axis. Look, it thinks we clicked all three. Dragging across axes. Okay, so now what I want to do is Grok can just help me tidy up the debugging. Where is it? Use my logger to add a log and write out the appropriate axes rather than the generic string. Sweet, so now depending on what axis it's dragging, it will give a specific name. And to be fair, if I didn't have this debugger, it would be hard to work out how the code's functioning, and I'd probably just ask Grok to generate something new. But this will probably be enough to understand how it's working. So we'll take the shader off. How is it possible it's no longer giving any errors? Ha ha ha. Cruel Crusader. Hey man. Yes, trying to. The local pub near me is called the Cruel Crusader. Something like that. It's in the city centre. let's give you something to look at. We can load the last terrain, unload the lights. And add some details and maybe some mountains. But we still need to get this intersection working. I must have just did something wrong on the code. Let me hide that engine. And grok. It's just never triggering. Did I do the right type? Yes. I know what I'll do. I'll take that, and I'll take that and that, just in case this string concatenation is causing an error. No, it's all good, but I'm not a big channel. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. That's where I'm streaming. I don't really use Twitch. Twitch is only favorable for gamers, to be honest. But it was good to chat. And so my Crawl Crusader in YouTube, you've obviously worked out that I'm also chatting to people on Twitch. If you're confused. Okay, so if I turn that shader off. Yeah, it's not picking that up. But last time it didn't detect I was clicking that until I did something like I made the screen small then big again. And then everything just worked. So there's just something. Might have even zoomed or... But then all of a sudden it just kind of all worked. It might have been the drag. Was it some sort of... If you're just tuning in, we've got a Gizmo on screen. Oh wait, you don't see it there. My bad. So this is a Gizmo, and obviously you'd normally click and drag it, and it would drag an object. But prior to that, what we want to do is just display a message here to say what we are dragging. The red, the green. And a minute ago it worked. Let's go back to 0, 0. Okay, actually I like this kind of error because presumably if I go back to this code here, this one, it should work. And then you think, well, what's the difference? Because there wasn't any, so there might be a little bug, and that's always good fun. Okay, let's see if that works. Take the shader off, clear it, go full screen for me. And sometimes it's worth minimizing it. It's specifically like as far as the engine's progress, because so I just minimized it and opened it because that refreshes, that calls a callback function which sends the screen size to some functions. So just make sure your maths is all aligned. Let me draw the grid. So now it just stopped working. Show info. Is that shaders being? Yes, there's a lot of shader calls. So let's just check if the function, if the error. Oh wait. Yeah, I was just checking if that bit of code was being called, and it was. The if statement. Sorry, I'm just checking out Twitch. Just make sure it's not the variable that I changed. I thought I changed that after, so I don't think it's that before. And let's see if, yeah. So just off screen, I'm making sure these if statements are being checked. So I'm just checking if I moved it out of the, let me show you. Yeah, this function looked like it was only being called when I click. but it should be just constantly. This function here is for a click specifically, but this is dragging. Okay, so that would come after a click. That makes sense. So nothing's changed there. It's nice to see a few people in the chat. Nobody's engaging, but I can see the data. I've been away for 3 weeks. So the problem we have is when I drag the gizmo, it's not registering the mouse is clicking on it. But earlier it did. And it might be to do with my camera position. So what I'm going to do is go to Grok. So I'm recommending Grok if you've come from ChatGPT. So initially it didn't detect movements, but then it did. Now it's gone back to not. I'm not sure how I got it working, but I didn't change the code. I might have changed my view or pressed the key on my UI. But essentially, sometimes it's registering, and that's a really bad typo, but there's no other word similar. Sometimes it's registering and detecting what might be going wrong. Is it see, the gizmo is just flat in 2D space. It should be orientated around the terrain maybe or something. Is it better if I connect the gizmo to an actual 3D object, such as a terrain? It's going to say yes. Okay, so it's just going to help me. It's going to suggest why it's working and not working. That's the best place to start. I've got the worst pins and needles. I can't move my foot. That's not fun. Okay, Grok, what you got for me? Let me just pause the engine. My foot's reactivated. So it's suggesting adding a logger for a mouse click. That's not bad. It's not a bad idea. Log the distance to each axis. Dist X. Where did we create that? In this loop. Okay, this is really interesting. So what Grok has given me is some debug information. So is the mouse clicked? Whereabouts on the screen is the mouse being clicked? Where is the ray? Which axis is it nearest to? So this is stuff I could benefit from having on screen in the debugger. But what I need is, like, every time you move the mouse, you don't want that information. You only want that information when you request it. So we need to create, I'll show you here. So in my log, I have different types of logs. One is just generic info. But we need a new type. And the new type can be, what can the new type be? Raycasting. Man, I'm tired, but that's good. Because it's late. MLG squirrel. Don't underestimate the underestimated. Right now a game engine, which I will then use to create the game. So this journey started, I was making a 2D game engine. I'm gonna link you. No, I was making a 2D MMO of a city in the UK. And this was, so I learned OpenGL 2D, did some coding in C++, but I got quite into it, and there was somewhere down that road I thought I should be making something 3D, because I put so much effort in, at least to my standard. So here's a 2D MMO simulation type game that I started, and that inspired the learning of 3D. Okay, so raycasting. Now I need to, so we're gonna have a raycasting show raycasting equals false. Yep, you can see I've not coded for a month. So what this would do, this will give us a button that in our debugger, our custom debugger, that allows us to turn on messages related to mouse clicks, the ray, the point that the mouse intersects into the world or clicks. Show physics. I just forgot exactly how this is set up. It's quite simple. Here it is. So we have another or. So raycasting. Else if and else. But no, that was right. And we just want one more check. If the type is ray, cast in. And we can get the color from info, which is, where was info? This one here. So mostly red and green. Maybe not so green, maybe not so red. So then what we want is the error messages. Instead of logging them as info, we can call them raycasting messages. So it'll only come on when we have this switch on, basically. Because it's going to give us a lot of information. You just want it on for a second or two. Mouse clicked. That can be both, to be honest. Because you're not clicking the mouse that often, like, to be fair. Okay, that's not finished, but let's just see if this is gonna, if it's coming on. And we're just loading. By the way, I'll take a like and subscribe. I just need 40 more users. And then I've got 500, which YouTube then allows you to have membership and other perks. Perks for you, perks for me. Okay, Visual Studio, let me try again. There we are. I'm thinking of like a god simulation, what Peter Molyneux would call a god simulation. So you have you're in charge of a civilization, but like ancient man. Okay, pause login. Okay, so mouse click is working. Let's clear the log. I need a button. Oh, that's just the info that it's picking up. I need a show. Okay, I'll show you what I need. Show OpenGL. I didn't create an on and off button. So we need a button that shows raise mouse clicks, basically, that go into the world for picking, for selecting locations, items. Somebody said, why are you coding an old game engine instead of using engines like Unity, Godot, and Unreal? I never heard of those. You mean there's other ways to do this? By the way, Igor, is that you in there's two people on YouTube and Twitch with the same username. I don't know if you're the same person. Is it like good cop, bad cop? What type of game will it be? Yeah, I answered that. There's a game called Sapiens, S-A-P-I-E-N-S. This is a good reference. But I don't want it to have too much combat. Okay, so show rays. Let's get rid of shaders. So when we click, okay, is that working? Physics. Yeah, so the error message is wrong, but it's picking up locations and stuff. Now let's pause login and see what we got here. Make my log bigger. The color's wrong. I'm just going to tweak the color of physics. Okay, I'm just going to change the. I've just changed the color and the error message. It shouldn't say physics. Yeah, I've had other people say that about the delay on YouTube. by delay you mean how long for me to respond to. I get you. That's interesting, and that's a point for Twitch. No, this is just pure code from scratch. I've been using ChatGPT quite a bit over the 6 months, and today really I started on Grok. Grok's probably better, but there's probably not too much difference. Maybe next week ChatGPT will be better, and then in my opinion Grok will probably take over, just because there's more money behind it. I'm a better relationship with Nvidia, with Elon. Love him or not, that's just the facts. Because I want to learn to make a game engine, so that's the point really. So I don't want to do it the other way, but I do enjoy the speed of a game engine, just being able to place things. Okay, show ray. So alright, it's paused. Turn the shader off. Clear the log and one click. Okay, yeah, so something's going wrong there. Also, I changed the color and that's not changed. So it thinks the distance between those from the mouse to those axes is 0, which is not accurate. Ah, there we go. Now it's saying the distance is... Okay, let's clear that and do 1 click. The same from all. Let me just check the code. Might be a code issue. This is why it's very important to have something on screen. X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's because they're resetting it each. Clicked Y-axis. It's just, I just think I'm a believer in being a lifelong learner. For sure. Why didn't that color change? It makes me think it didn't rebuild the current code. Okay, let's drag and see if we get anything about dragging. And clear and 1 click. And the clicker's passing through the IMG UI. Even if you click here, which you don't, I don't want that. Like, I have that. I'm using the wrong variable. I'll just show you. Where is it? If mouse clicked, I have another variable like this, and it doesn't pass through. It doesn't. If I click the user interface, it won't let me click the world as well. So to troubleshoot this with Grok, I need to ask. This code here gives me the same X, Y, and Z in the logger output. Did I do a typo, or is it being reset at each if check? Just come back to chat. Yeah, I like learning. Are you trying to record the position of the mouse? So the position of the mouse is not too difficult to get. But I want the position of the mouse in relation to what's called the Gizmo. Maybe you know what that is. The grid, the axis that you're seeing. Have I got it running still? Yeah, so if I show you here, and if I just move the debugger. So this is the Gizmo. So I'll be clicking the green line or the red line. So that these represent an X, a Y, and a Z. Well, actually that's X, that's Y, and that's Z. So then when I drag these lines, it would rotate the models in the world like a car or a house or the terrain. So I've already getting the mouse things quite easy. And it's the distance to, so when you click one of these, obviously you're not going to click, you might miss the line because they're very narrow. So it's just which one you click nearest, and then you'll move it up or you move it across the X or the Z axis. So it's just detecting the location of the mouse in relation to the axis. And I don't need to know the coordinates, but it's not working, so I'm drawing the coordinates to the screen here. So what I was doing a few minutes ago was adding a tool that tells you when the mouse is clicked. Maybe what I need to do is when I click the mouse, it clears the log. And then let's see what Grok said. Wow, is Grok still thinking? Oh, there we go. Excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna give Grok a screenshot. Here's an example of the duplication error. So this is really powerful. Now I can, the debugger that I've made, I can send the screenshot to Grok. Yeah, it's made another good point, which is, if I move Grok away, I'll come back to chat in a second. Yeah, it's also saying none of these were triggered. Where are we, Grok? You can make like an invisible. Well, what I think this is building and working up to is, I don't actually have to click one of the lines. but wherever you, but where the, so that there's the three lines and there's the mouse click, and then wherever the mouse clicks on the whole screen, whichever it's nearest to, just the distance between the X and the Y. So I think that's where we're going. But then maybe that's not possible because I don't know if there's anything here that's that sort of sees the object. What did you call it? A picture. But yeah, I said about an hour ago, once this is working, I feel like I need to add something onto this just to make it nice as well visually. Why don't you make the Gizmo a physical object? I guess that's how I'm viewing it at the minute. I've just got that goes to whichever object is currently selected. Yeah, so it will do that. So right now I'm just trying to, because it's not associated with anything, it's not associated with the terrain, I'm just testing the code of clicking it and debugging that when I drag an axis, it knows what's being dragged. And then as an instance of a class, I will just connect it to the given 3D object. And so then it will be associated with the model matrix. Something like that. And where is Grok? Well, I'll probably go to sleep in 5 minutes. No, I won't go to sleep. I'll log off. I've not streamed for 3 weeks, so I didn't really have a plan on what I was doing today. Okay, here we go. I don't think it's that. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, good for that feedback on the YouTube thing as well. If you subscribe on YouTube, and then you can just bounce on here, because sometimes I not come on here, but I might be slowly being converted to Twitch. Thanks for your feedback as well. What's the min distance? Okay, so it's added some logging. Did it change the minimum distance? Yeah, it did. Oh, wait, I need to put on the show raise, of course. Ah, okay, so I think it's working now. Maybe not, it's just more error checking. Let's have a look. Let me give you this, of course. My bad. Okay, so we're getting the mouse position. And then the camera position. Which I think that looks like the camera starting position. Let me just move the camera and take off pause and drag. Pause the log. Yeah, so the camera position is live. The ray direction is the closest X. And let's drag. I'm not sure if I have anything now with dragging. If dragging is true. Dragging across axes. No. So it's checking if we're not dragging. Wait, maybe I have to set dragging to false after each loop. Unless I think I already am, right? Yeah. Okay, ChatGPT, my friend. Or Grok. The dragging clauses are never hit. And dragging is never set to true. Let's just make sure it's because I need to reset dragging at some point. do that. I'm just going to put a few breakpoints in these places here, and there should be one more axis. 1, 2, 3. Distance X is what? 0. Minimum distance is 5. And what's TX? It might be the ray direction. I'll just move the camera about, maybe. Into the world a bit. Okay guys, please hit subscribe if you've enjoyed or learned or been inspired or you've been provoked to think you might learn to code. Normally I have a plan on what I'm going to do for a session. I've not coded for 3 weeks and this was the plan, just to jump online for an hour and a half. I'll be back most likely tomorrow.